Hey guys, I'm just sitting here in my ugly ass living room office with my super expensive Apple equipment and knowledge. I'm learning not to take myself so seriously. It's been a long, arduous journey coming out of my own introverted shell, repairing my own psychology from a genuinely traumatic past. I know that it's become commonplace to hear about all these entrepreneurs with their yeah, I started when really poor and I started off with, without X, Y, and Z. No, I actually have come from a traumatic past and it's been a hell of a ride. Over the past 21 years, making baby steps to become more who I truly am. But anyway, that's precisely why I thought to make this video have a more comical tone, because this video is about being authentic with your branding. I come from pretty humble origins, and it took me years to psychologically come to terms with that. To get from point A to point B, I faked it until I made it in many areas of my life. I did this because it was effective. It worked, to a certain degree, with most crowds of people. However, there are two kinds of fakers. One, the kind that have no intention of genuinely growing into their persona. And two, the kind that do. The difference is in motive. Some people lie because they lack the strength to live in reality. This makes them become genuinely malevolent over time. Meanwhile, others lie only as they feel they need to. This is because of what they're emotionally attached to, time constraints and social pressures. I was the second kind. I faked a persona only as I felt I needed when I needed, in different contexts. For instance, I once exaggerated my ability to speak Mandarin Chinese. However, I did actually teach myself basic Mandarin. Then I eventually took a college class, which then led to me eventually living in China for about 4 years. While I lived in China, I spoke it on a daily basis. Therein, I became what I projected.
我知道我的汉语有一些的问题，还有我不是中国人，但是我希望美国人看得见我的汉语是这样的。
I became legit even though I wasn't fluent. But considering my social group at the time, I would lie to gain respect. And with that respect came social benefits that gained me access to mentors. And with access to mentors and reflecting over a lot of my own mistake making, I learned how to become a genuinely better person over time. Following this pattern got me out of the ghetto. I was smarter than almost everyone I interacted with. However, intelligence and wisdom are two completely different things. I was intelligent enough to know at a young age that I needed wisdom that I didn't have. This set me apart from most of my other African American peers, but I wasn't qualified for most of the social groups that had the wisdom that I knew I needed. So I analyzed their communicative patterns, mimicked them, and projected status. I was able to do this because even though I was an outsider, I was actually smarter than most of them. I was born with immense talent, but I lacked the benefits of all those who had a father. Thus, I had to compensate. If you think of the brain as a computer, a standard computer rather than a quantum one, then I was fortunate enough to have been born with a very powerful processor. However, I had bugs in my operating system with key missing files that I had to become what you could say a hacker to attain. You could say that I hacked into different computer networks or social groups in which I didn't actually belong. Then extracted key files I knew I needed to complete myself, my own mind, and operate properly to get to where I wanted to go in life. However, once I got those files, I realized, oh wait, I can stop this behavior now because I want to and I am not a victim. I realize now that personal responsibility is the key to getting where I want to go in life. In Star Wars terms, it's kind of like being born a Sith, but wanting to become a Jedi. So you develop dark force powers by the nature of your environment. Then you cloak a light side persona until you eventually get taken in by a legitimate light force Jedi. As a result, over time, you become a legit Jedi yourself, but only because that was what was truly in your heart the entire time. And you did have talent with the force that you were born with. None of that was a lie. You were just born on what you could say the wrong side of the force. This created a strain on my mind, but it was a healthy strain. You could say that I lied into sparking my own psychological growth. Though this does not excuse the fact that I had the tendency to exaggerate my own abilities. A liar is a liar. And I did the same when I first entered the marketing industry about 4 years ago. I got out of the military, then I got a business degree in internet marketing. But that's all I had. I didn't have the experience needed to win different jobs with the salary that I needed to provide for my family. I would see a great offer posted online on websites like what at the time was Elance or Upwork or freelancer.com. Then I would apply while exaggerating my abilities, while feeling the pressure thereafter to perform. As I felt the pressure to perform, I double timed it or triple timed it even to gain the legitimate knowledge that I needed. Sometimes the real me grew into the persona that I projected, and other times I failed. In either case, as a result, I would either directly or indirectly gain the experience that I needed. But this would come from the experience. This means that I had noble intentions. I would just lie to beat the competition. Then, because I had genuine intentions, I would grow into the persona that I projected. Doing so would then render my initial lie untraceable. The falsehood would become reality. This then led to legitimate stability, but at the sacrifice of burnout. But first came the falsehood, and then came the pressure. There was never a moment in which I did not have the intention to become whom I said I was, if I wasn't so at the time. I faked it only to buy time to become whom I said I was. However, if I could go back and do it all again, I tell myself not to develop that habit, because once you develop it, it's extremely hard to break out of, and it adds to your neuroticism. I'd be the mentor that I needed, that my younger self needed, so that I could relax, speak the truth to myself and others, and begin the genuine process of self-actualization early. It took great pain over years to start taking genuine responsibility over my life, to become a better man. That's why I'm not one of those marketers who flashes the perfect life on beaches as I make these videos. I didn't rent out a car or a house that I couldn't afford to project status that I didn't have in my videos. Yet I am making legit money online because my knowledge is real. And if you don't believe that, just check my Upwork account. You can see a lot of what I'm making publicly. Of course, I don't get every client through Upwork, but you can see that I do know what I'm talking about from the third-party reviews. And as I make these videos and build my brand, one day I will have the means for the high status items, but I won't be paying them from direct cash. I'll be paying them from the interest of accounts that I have saved direct cash within. This is the key to sustainable wealth that my parents did not understand in the beginning. So this is what I'm doing for you right now with these videos. I'm being the virtual mentor that I wish I had. I'm telling you, don't fake it until you make it. That is a high-risk strategy for success. Some people make it with that strategy, but it's always a gamble. Just demonstrate patience. Become whom you want to be first by modifying your belief system to be what your residual self-image would actually believe. And then your brand will reflect this because your business reflects who you genuinely are. You're going to have to admit to people, either directly or indirectly, that you're not a perfect person. This means that you're going to have to let some opportunities go. The reason why you'd want to do this is for the sake of your reputation, even though it is the reputation that would, the pressure of it that would cause you to lie to begin with. It's always much better in the long term to just take your time. Because when the public tests you, and they will, it only takes one failure for people to lose faith in you, for you to lose the respect of the people who love you forever. And you need them more than you think. You need their support to go where you want to go in life. And this is true for either your personal brands or your businesses. Be legit. The best foundation on which to build your brand is honesty.